Welcome back to the show, everybody. I tell you, we got a great one lined up for you. How about gold done in a cryptocurrency sort of way? And what about reshaping the Federal Reserve? Things are getting interesting. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content right now. $3.08 trillion market cap for the trillion-dollar market cap at the time of recording this video. The market is off 1.4%. Bitcoin, 89,300 plus, but we have cracked 90,000 easily. Ethereum, 3,100 plus. Tether market cap, 125 billion plus. XRP number 7 spot, 68 cents right now, off 4.2 on the 24 and up 26.6% on the 7-day. USDC, 36 billion plus market cap. The range of price for XRP at the moment, 64 to 74 cents. A 10% spread on that range is very unlike XRP. Usually it ranges between 1 penny or less. So, with that being said, let's get started. I Trust Capital, the best home for crypto, gold, and silver IRAs. What are you waiting for? Take control of your life and your retirement and your finances and get your own back office where you have the power to steer your financial freedom. You won't believe it until you click the link below. XRP, ADA, and Solana are available now on Robinhood's platform for U.S. customers. Oh boy, oh boy. Now add in the introduction of the real USD, add in a settlement to this case, and which could happen. Look, let's think of this for a moment. President Trump has won. So now let's look at the idea of, let's say Gary Gensler may in fact resign from the chair from November 20th, like most other SEC chair people. If that were to happen, watch out for the markets on that one. That could get a huge response from the market. We'll have to wait and see if it does or if he does. But it would be tradition if he does step down. And I would imagine that being very bullish for the market if he does. So this is bullish, and so are all the other things that mentioned. I can't wait. BlackRock, this is extremely bullish. Yeah, shout out to BlackRock and Securitize. Launches BUIDL on Aptos, Arbitrum, Avalanche, Optimisms, OP Mainnet, and Polygon. Hello, guess who's multi-chain world now? Securitize is welcome, Polygon. And shout out to Carlos Domingo and Securitize and everybody over there. They're phenomenal. They're doing incredible work. And they are leading the frontier to real-world asset tokenization. And I couldn't be more excited. That's what I'm really here for. The entire weight of the U.S. capital market is about to flood down into the crypto market. This time, just before us, will be the stories of legends for decades to come. I salute you all. And as I sit here, Chad Steingraber, I salute you. Look at this. BlackRock, Securitize, Wormhole, Optimism, Arbitrum, Polygon, Aptos, Avalanche. All these multi-chain protocols pouring into this. I tell you, you can see this taking shape right before our eyes. This is a remarkable moment we're living in. And just in, Bitcoin would hit $500,000 per coin if strategic reserve happens for the United States because other nations would need to buy it too, says Mike Novogratz. Now, I don't agree with Mike on very much because he's a scumbag of a human being, but I can tell you this, even a broke clock is right twice a day, and I think Mike's right on this one. Bull run over in 2 months. Shout out to Paul Barron. Let's take a listen to this gentleman's thoughts on the matter.
I think it's going to go to 112. I really do.
Okay.
I think it's going to muscle its way there. Can it go a whole lot higher? Crypto is not my space. The only reason I'm in crypto and Bitcoin specifically right now is simply because from a technical standpoint, the charts are is pretty much as perfect as it gets. I'm concerned longer term to look out like 2025. I think by the end of 2025, I think it's going to be a very difficult year for investors. I think the equities markets are going to soften and roll over. I think we're going to see a recession really kick in. So I think it's going to be very painful. But in the short term, we've got money flowing into the stock market. It's a broad market rally this time. So we've got money piling into all the aggressive spaces into the end of the year. Come January, though, generally with the monthly chart, if you look at the SP 500, wherever January closes, if it's positive, it should be a positive year for equities. If it's negative at the end of January, it's usually a negative year for the market. So it's going to be very interesting to see how all that shakes out in the long run. And
no doubt. And that's an amazing metric if it pans out. So we'll keep an eye out for that as well. That's Chris Vermeulen, I believe it is. And forgive me, Chris, if I've messed it up, from the Tech Traders. And I like that. Now, he says he sees 110, 112 for a top for Bitcoin and talks about the equities market rolling over. I happen to wonder, we don't know yet, but I'm happen to wonder if the equities market rolling over and going south becomes even more bullish for Bitcoin, driving Bitcoin as a flight to quality, as Larry Fink refers it as. So this is going to get extremely interesting. You know, I personally believe that at this point, Bitcoin is a government psyop that was created for this moment that we're about to enter right now. And it is a financial band-aid to help the world transition to the new monetary system. And I believe XRP, XLM, and other tokens will play a major role just as Bitcoin is playing as well. It's just important to know that I'm holding Bitcoin as long as BlackRock and Fidelity do. If that changes, I will too. Cardano ADA Charles Hoskinson recently revealed that he had a conversation with Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, and he's excited to work with him and the U.S. government. And I say everybody may want to wait until this film comes out, because I'm getting word that the Trump team has seen the trailer, if not the entire film. And I also know that Elon Musk, not being a fan of the SEC, he's not going to be happy if he happens to learn about the corruption in the SEC as well. And if you watch this film, you're about to find out a thing or two about Charles Hoskinson that I guarantee you he wasn't planning on you ever finding out. And here we have Mr. Intuitive. Shout out to you, Mr. Intuitive. This is an OG right here. Yeah. Judy Shelton thanking him for sharing the clip. Listen, Judy Shelton is one of the brightest minds in finance and in the economic space. So here's what I'd say. As an economist, as someone who was cited and nominated to be the next Fed chairman back in 2019, and I was hoping that she would get it, she didn't, but maybe she gets it this time around. But nonetheless, it doesn't diminish her expertise and her knowledge in this space. Take a listen to what she talks about. Remember, this is the same person that told us things could be done in a new cryptocurrency sort of way.
The country going bankrupt. And then I wrote a book in 1994 called Money Meltdown. And it was about the impact around the world of having no international monetary system. Because I think, because that's the case. I mean, what we have today is, it's not even a non-system, it's an anti-system. And it really undercuts the logic of free trade. So that's why I think we keep battling these free trade issues, because countries can manipulate currencies, they can depreciate currencies. So
you hear what she's saying. You're talking about no matter what the problem is with trades, the undercutting that's going on here is a currency manipulation between the countries that have the privilege to do it. You know, like the United States itself or China. This is a war that has been going on for quite some many time, decades in fact. Listen to this clip.
I was delighted. This was a turnaround for President Trump to support the crypto community.
Told you.
It was brilliant. I think that the whole decentralized finance movement does reflect less trust in government management of money. And I think that's healthy. I think we need to challenge whether or not we want to have government use money, which I consider private property. You earn it. I consider it a moral contract between citizens and the government, that the money perform as a meaningful unit of account and a reliable store of value, I think it's very healthy to challenge the protected status of the dollar as our legal tender by allowing continual innovation in the sphere of alternative currencies. I'm particularly intrigued with stablecoins. I want the dollar, I don't think it's a choice of the dollar versus crypto. I want to capture the efficiencies of blockchain technology, which I think works much better for individual consumers. But I think the dollar can be connected to it, but through private sector innovation, through stablecoins and alternative efforts coming forward to say, how can we link to the dollar in a way that strengthens the dollar?
Well, in a way that strengthens the dollar. You listen, I'm optimistic here. I'm going to read a lot into this that nobody else could see. And it doesn't mean that I'm right. It's just what I see. Ultimately, what I see her saying here is that we can introduce stable coins, providing a new use case to support the dollar and its inflation, hyperinflationary moment that we're getting ready to endure. And not only that, we could take this moment to introduce something like the XRP ledger as a major protocol trusted to move value. That, in turn, can formulate and inform a value for XRP representing all things in the world of value that have been tokenized. And that representation can then say, oh, XRP is worth this much. And then the United States government could decide to say, you know what? We're actually going to use XRP to underpin the US dollar, so it's not just trusted that we'll print more, right? It's not just a promise anymore. It has real value underpinning it, just like when we used to back it by gold, right? And now we can back it by multiple set of assets on the ledger. And then it becomes very hard to demolish the value or diminish the value even of the US dollar. And isn't that the problem solved that we need to do here to make the dollar dominant for generations to come so our children's children can have the future or more opportunities than we even had? Isn't that the goal? Of course it is. And that's where I see the path going, ladies and gentlemen. I might be wrong, but the Fed is setting itself up, says Judy Shelton, to blunt the impact of the incoming Trump administration supply-side economic growth agenda. When President Trump was increasing pressure on China through tariffs and calling them out for currency manipulation in August of 2019, which we covered, the Fed decided to cut the interest rates 3 times due to uncertainty. What it really reflected was the fact that the Fed's rate-setting committee had come around to agreeing with Trump that they had gone too far in raising rates in 2018, raised 4 times. And then, even though inflation stayed below their 2% target the whole time and needed to take 3 of them back, they didn't want to seem to have caved and didn't want to say he was right. Now they want to raise interest rates suddenly post-election, now that Trump won, right? After signaling they wanted to recalibrate to neutral rates. I'll say it again. The Fed has become too powerful, too prominent, and too political. And this is the moment where we need the dream team. And I feel like the dream team that includes J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, RFK Jr., Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Judy Shelton is another missing piece of that puzzle, I believe, because of this.
Would returning to a gold standard help the U.S. economy? Can you talk a little about your thoughts on that?
Well, I would say I don't see it so much as returning, but more of a back to the future.
Okay.
I think that what a gold standard stands for is monetary discipline for its own sake. That is, if money is supposed to be a unit of account and a reliable measure and a dependable store of value, it really shouldn't be subject to who's the chairman of the Federal Reserve. And I think that money needs to be stable and provide the foundation for productive economic growth. And when money is just a variable that financial markets toss around, or it's part of a derivatives formula, or it's part of someone speculating on currencies, it's not serving the private sector in the sense of providing that reliable unit of account so you can make plans. And under a gold standard, you did have that stability, and I think that's what's missing. And so I like the idea of a gold standard. I mean, it could be used in a very cryptocurrency way. The point is, do you have a unified money system so that when you talk about the international marketplace, everyone is playing on a level monetary playing field?
Well, we've heard that before, haven't we? Well, you know what? That brings me to this.
We're also, as you know, investing heavily right now in building a new settlement system for instant payments in the U.S. It'll be the first such major expansion of our core payment system since the 1970s.
And Ripple is a FedNow partner that is integrated into that new financial payment system.
We found the case for this quite compelling for consumers, businesses, and just ensuring that all financial institutions have access to the payment system. We're also, as you know...
There you have it. Now let's look at this. Ripple meets with the Federal Reserve and Governor Bowman to discuss the report of how stablecoins are extending U.S. dollar dominance. Come on in. This is why it was a major conversation on stage at XRP Las Vegas 24. But look, if we don't get the dollar strength back, we don't need to talk about all the other chances to win at many different opportunities in this digital era, because there won't be one. Okay? Yeah. Trust me. Trust yourself. I think you know this too. You guys are smart. If we let the dollar collapse, truly collapse, you're living Mad Max every day, right? You're living some apocalyptic bullshit nightmare. Who wants to do that? And that's why I believe it's important to note that not only is Ripple partnered with FedNow and the Faster Payments Task Force from all the way back in 2017, but that recently they've met with the Federal Reserve twice in the last 2 months. Come on in. And here's Dark Defender. Hi all, XRP reached the overbought area, surpassing 66.49, which has been a key level to get support at, and then moving towards 74 cents. Then, as expected, it went back below 66 cents. However, he managed to close above here. This one of the critical areas we have discussed for around 2 years. Do not underestimate it. Beating Diablo, as he calls it, is not easy. Now we observe XRP staying above 66.49 while making corrections here. As long as 66.40 is maintained, XRP is expected to proceed with higher targets such as $1.03. $1.03 is another critical level, but I see it as mid-level compared to 0.6649, which we have been fighting for around 2 years. The weekly and monthly time frames are super bullish for XRP, and we can expect an extraordinary performance within a few days. Whoa! Look at this. RSI overbought area, daily resistance. Then here RSI dip, and then here's the dip on the chart. RSI overbought area. And then here it is, the break through the resistance, Fibonacci resistance, Diablo. Here it is. We get above it and crazy stuff starts to go down. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. What a time. I'll catch all of you on the next one.